Alright, so now that our model is ready, we need to start working on the materials. But before that, let's change our background to be something more bright. So perhaps something like this should work. And let's create a material which is going to be our skin material. And this skin material will be, will have like a depth layer by default. And let's also rename the object so we can clearly know what we're doing, right? So this is gonna be cloth, this is gonna be body, and finally face. Let's actually put the face right in the top. All right, the face and the ears are going to be using the skin material, and also the body will also be using skin. I want this to be a dark skin, so it's gonna be a little brown here. It's gonna be something like this, and on the other side will be like this. At this point, I would like to change the position of the light, so I'm going to enable the helpers again so I can see where my light is, and then I can move it, and then maybe a little bit to here. I want this to be something like 60% for the light and using an overlay, and then let's play around a little with the colors in here. Now let's remember that because we have the hair, right, there should be some darkness going in this part of the face, so we need to have a depth layer. So this is going to be in here, but this is going to be a linear one, and it's going to be in the Z direction here, something like that, and this here. And then let's change the order of the colors, so it's gonna be a little darker in these areas, which is looking good. Just making sure that we have the actual darkness that we're looking for. And then we use multiply, and we put this also below lighting. So let's adjust a little bit the colors. This needs to be a little more like this. And now let's add a material for the eyes. So it's going to be eyes, and we can assign to both of eyes, and it's going to be just a dark material here, something like this, and it's going to be using something like 40% shininess, so we can see clearly what the eyes are. And for the nose, we can use the skin, but we can detach it, and then we can change the color a little bit to be more orange, something like that. Right, the mouth, and so it's gonna be something like this, and then we can detach, and we can change the colors to be more dark pink in this case, with the lips just a little bit, and something like this. Okay, so for the hair, we're going to create another material, and it's going to be a gradient, I think, as well, the color. So apply this to this part, also to this part. And now what we want is that instead of radial, we can use a linear one, and it's going to be more like from top to bottom, I think, something like this. So perhaps it's going to be more towards the light. And let's inverse the color in here. Let's also use a smooth. So for the top part, we need brown color, and then this part in here be a little more darker. I'm going to use 80%, and I also want to use overlay here. Right, so that make it even more darker. I'm going to use a Fresnel, and instead of being light, it's going to be more like dark. I'm going to use overlay in here, and the bias is going to be less, something like this. Then I'm going to use another Fresnel, and this time it will be reverse. So instead of going in this direction, it's going to be in the other direction, something like this. And let's change the factor a little. And this one is going to be perhaps a bit more bright, and also going to be on overlay. Actually, it's going to be more like a screen color, and I just want it to be more like this, and both of them will be below the light. It's going to be like 4 in shininess. And for the eyebrows, we can select the same hair color for now. So we have the eyebrows. Now we're getting there, but still not quite there. And then for the cloth, I believe this could be a replica of the skin, but more like a green color, maybe something like turquoise. Does look good. A little dark. Okay. By the way, you can see here we are kind of like need to adjust this a little bit, something like that. One thing that I want is I want another light that is bouncing here, so we can catch some reflections in here and also in the face. So I'm going to duplicate our directional light and let's put all of them in the top. And the second one is going to be to this side, and it's going to be more like a blue light, something like that, and no shadows. So if we move it a little, so it's kind of catching the reflection of the eye, which is really nice. All right, so there is a couple of things that I feel like I want to do. And so one of them is that I feel like the shape right now of the hair is not quite there yet. So I think we can make a few adjustments on the shape to make it look better. And I also think we can improve a little bit more the colors in the face. So let's do that. All right, so for the shape of the head, so let's try a few ideas. One idea is to move the hair a little to the top and see how that works. So if we move it like this, oh no, that's not. So if we move it to the top, we get a different perception. So let's see, maybe like that. Okay, so a couple of ideas that I had in mind is I think maybe we can increase a little bit the roundness in here to be a little more like this, so it has more like energy like this. And for those two elements, I think we can create a new material which is going to be eyebrows, and the difference is that we can disable these two, and instead we can just increase this color in here to be like that. So for this mouth here, we can try changing this to be a little more like this, I think. And for the nose, so let's make it like this. I think that's a little better. I do feel like we're missing a little bit of saturation right now. Maybe we can add some kind of like details like this. So let's select the face, and actually let's just, yeah, let's go to the skin. Let's create a dead color here, dead layer, and then let's go here and make it very small, something like this. I think it should work. And so we can put it right here. So it's gonna be smooth, kind of like this, and then it will be something like, you know, with transparency. This maybe is multiplying, and it's gonna be below lighting. And then if we actually maybe it's too much, so I can duplicate this now, and then this other one could be on the other side right there. Okay, so that's a little better. The hair needs more detail, so I think for the hair we can add a noise layer that is going to be, so let's say maybe it could be something like this, something like that. So we can use an overlay here, and then we can put it below all of those, and then we can reduce opacity a lot, so it's going to be just very kind of like simple there. You can also increase the distortion, so we have more lines, and we can reduce the C size there, so maybe something like that, maybe 10%. So you can see now it has a little more details in there. Kind of liking it how it's looking right now. I just feel like maybe the bottom part of the head can be a little different, so maybe if we put it like this, and then if we move this tube a little more, yeah, that's interesting. And perhaps the eyes could be just a little smaller, 18 and 18, right? And then let's set the eyebrows. Okay, one thing about the mouth is that I think the mouth could be a little smaller, something like that. I think the backside of those are looking too dark, so it needs to be less dark this way. So for the scheme, I think we can make a few changes. I want the skin to be more saturated, something like that. And this part is gonna be a little darker, like this. Alright, so one final adjustment here is I want to make the hair a little darker. So I'm going to select this one here and just make it a tiny little bit more darker, right there. And for this one as well. Yeah, so that's a lot better. As you can see there, it is. With this, I think our head is right and it's looking good already. So the final step will be to create the interactivity.